what what do you bring to the Orioles that they have not seen that they haven't seen before in a coach? What strengths do you think you have?
Well, I mean, I don't think you bring anything they haven't seen before. There's been a lot of coaches, good coaches, that have gone through Baltimore's organization. Obviously with Buck and his staff, and then now Brandon and his staff. So I don't think I'm going to bring anything new. I think I'm probably going to mesh in with what Brandon and the organization wants right now. I think I bring some experience on the development side. And I think I probably bring a pretty good balance of new and old in terms of baseball to the position.
Steve Molesky, you're up next. Go ahead, Steve.
Tony, I think you'll be the youngest coach on the major league staff, and obviously not that far removed from playing. How does the youth help you here in this role?
That's an interesting question. I think I probably ran into that managing in AAA. I think I was the oldest guy, or not the oldest, because we had some coaches older than me, but I think the oldest player when I ran the Columbus club was probably just a few months younger than me. So I think it allows me to relate to these guys a little bit in some ways. I'm at a similar spot in life as a lot of these guys are in terms of family and kids and things like that. And then also, I've grown up in this generation of the game, so as people talk about this generation of the game, it's something that I played in to a certain extent, and, a part of the game that, I've been raised in myself. So, in terms of understanding these guys and kind of where they're at personally and professionally, I feel like it does give me a little bit of an edge due to my age.
Dan Connolly, you're up. Go ahead, Dan.
Tony, how did this process unfurl for you? Obviously, being in the Indians organization, you don't have direct involvement with like the Astros or the Cubs or the other organizations these guys came from. How did this job opportunity come to you, and what was the connection like?
I got a phone call from our assistant GM, Carter Hawkins, in Cleveland, and just said that they wanted to interview me. I don't necessarily have any direct relationships in the Baltimore organization, or at least I didn't have any prior to being interviewed. So it kind of came out of the blue, to be honest with you. I got the phone call. I was home and ready to go be the info coordinator for the Cleveland Indians this next year, and got the call and the opportunity to interview with Baltimore. And obviously I jumped all over it, and here I am.
Joe Trezza, you're up next. Go ahead, Joe.
Hey, Tony, obviously you spent a lot of time in your career on the development side of things. What was 2020 like for you, being summoned to the majors amid all the shuffling and with Tito's health and all that?
Well, it was an honor, especially because it was Tito that asked me to do it. I think anytime, somebody of that stature asks you to fill in onto his staff, I think you got to take it as a compliment. In terms of going to the big leagues, I think the initial thing was it was quick. It's a fast version of the game. I think when you are at the AAA level, it's as close as you can get, but obviously the big leagues are a little bit different. In terms of being in the environment, it was comfortable. And I say that with all due respect to what the big leagues are, but, understanding that I've grown up in this my whole life. I traveled with my dad as a kid. I spent my whole life in a clubhouse growing up, and, a lot of it a major league clubhouse. So, being in that environment, being at that level, it was comfortable, if you can actually, say that for being in the big leagues for the first time.
Steve Molesky with a follow-up. Go ahead, Steve.
Tony, I guess a two-part question about infield instruction. What are some of the keys you find to help make one guy better, and it might be different for the next guy? And secondly, with major league players that are 24, 26, 28, can they still get better defensively in the infield, or in a lot of times they are what they are and you work with the skills that are present?
So the first part of the question, I guess, what am I looking for? It just depends on the player, and I know you guys have probably heard this a lot, but, I think when you have a specific way to do things, you're leaving a lot of players out. I think the most important thing for me to come in is to partner with each player individually, find out what he's good at, what he isn't good at, what he wants to get better at, and partner with him to help him, improve wherever he needs to improve. In terms of the 24, 26, 28, yeah, I think every major league player should have something they're trying to get better at. I think the best ones do. I think at any point when a player, regardless of their age, I guess feels like they don't need to get better, you're probably going to start to see a decline. And that's certainly something that we want to see. So I think, the most important thing is meet with these guys individually, as we kind of get closer to spring training and into spring training, and, partner with them, find out what they want to do, find out what they feel like they need to get better at, probably cross-reference that with some of our internal scouting reports and our internal data, and come up with a plan with the player to help him get to where he wants to be.